What is small in size but has an enormous impact on just about everything we eat? I'm talking about honeybees, which are vital for the pollination of many crops. Over at the UH Hilo farm in Panaʻewa on the island of Hawaii, students are getting hands-on lessons in beekeeping. The program is so buzzworthy, a renowned chef is helping to foster this next generation of beekeepers.
There is a great deal of communication that goes on between bees. It's tactile, it's chemical, it's audio, so they can hear, they can smell, they can feel, and this is how they orderly manage a hive. I'm Dr. Lorna Tsutsumi. I'm a professor of entomology at the University of Hawaiʻi Hilo, College of Agriculture, Forestry, and Natural Resource Management. I offer several beekeeping courses at the University of Hawaii. This particular beekeeping certificate is only offered at the University of Hawaiʻi Hilo, as well as the hands-on beekeeping courses. And this is tropical beekeeping, so it gives students background in how to manage honeybees within a tropical environment as opposed to temperate beekeeping, which you find elsewhere in the United States.
I was born and raised in Lahaina, and there used to be a lot of bees in my neighborhood, just in people's rock walls and things like that, or washed up on the beach and I'd step on them. I used to dislike bees so much. I get stung all the time. And then I took the course, and after the first semester we had, it 180 changed my mind completely. I went from disliking bees to thinking they're the coolest things on the planet. That's one of the main reasons I got into it, and after learning more about it and some of the collapse of honeybees as well as just pollinators is, kind of a duty to learn how to do it.
Interestingly, honeybees are only one of 2 insects that have been domesticated or cultivated by man. The other one is silkworms. And both insects were cultivated for the products primarily, honey, pollen, royal jelly. But what has become more important as we talk about food security is that honeybees are one of the most important pollinators of agricultural crops, and therefore we are very dependent on honeybees for our food supply. It's really, really important for students to not only understand the organism, but to understand how to properly manage honeybees so that they can maximally produce the products that we are interested in, but to maximally pollinate crops. So they work really well in agricultural settings. They forage basically within a 2-mile radius. So here at the university, we have 110 acres, and our crops on the farm are pollinated by the honeybees that the students use.
Aloha, my name is Ilia Hitenkayo and I come from Molokai. I am very interested in agriculture and seeing how important it is for my island back home. I thought that beekeeping would be a necessary tool to use and get acquainted with so that one day I can probably start that on my own, as well as be a farmer. I haven't been up close to a bee ever in my life prior to this class, so being able to be properly suited and the safety gear and procedures in place, like just being up close in the apiary gave me more actually interest of the bees because I got to be in their environment instead of being on this outside looking at a tiny little bee. I got to be up close and see exactly what their nature is like.
So we have 3 different boxes in our hives, in our Langstroth hives. And so the top box is typically your super, your honey super, and then your bottom 2 boxes are your broods. And your broods typically have your larvae, your eggs, all of like the maturing process of bees, and then your supers will have honey. And so when you're looking at the top, you're kind of just looking for that honey, seeing how much is capped, what color it is. When you're getting into the broods, you're looking to see if your queen is laying eggs, if those eggs are progressing, and just seeing for life.
The smoker, I learned, is used to calm the bees. So kind of when you interrupt their daily cycle, their routine, they get a little agitated and aggressive because things are kind of out of order for them, and they are insects of order. And so the smoke is not heat, it's a cooling type of smoke that is used to soothe them. And you can actually hear the difference from when they start to buzz kind of loud and just they sound really aggressive. And when you kind of smoke them out a little bit, you can hear kind of like the peace within the hive.
When I first went into the hives, I would say like that nervousness, that fear kind of was there. And then the more that you work with the same hive, the more I've been able to see what that queen is doing, see how that hive is working.
What's really neat is that the certificate for the beekeeping program kind of brings it all together. From learning about the bees, caring for them, harvesting, learning what you can do with the material that comes out.
The Adopt the Beehive program started in 2010.
Chef Alan Wong approached me, the University of Hawaiʻi Hilo, to see if we could do a collaboration where we could adopt hives to the community and have these hives taken care of by the beekeeping students. And it's because he understood the importance of honeybees in the food chain that gets all the way up to the food that he serves to his customers.
For me as a chef, I'm worried that if your food supply changes, my menus change. And so we decided to go all in and just bring about awareness on the plight of the bees. And so that's what the Adopt the Beehive program is, where you can adopt the beehive at multiple levels, and students in turn receive scholarships to continue their education. And I just think it's cool because as culinarians, as chefs, we used to go at least once a year to Hilo, if not more than that. And we would always go see how they raise the bees and take care of the hives, and we would participate in some of the honey producing. Cooks don't understand that you got so many different kinds of honey. If the bees are pollinating this flower, well, it might take on a little bit of nuances from that flower or the environment. That's what we call it terroir. Terroir is taste the land. And the bees are doing that, and we get to taste what they do. Some honeys are light, some honeys are dark, some are full-bodied, some are light-bodied, and they have all different kinds of smells and aromas. When you take your restaurant staff to the beehives and they can see the environment, they see how it's raised and produced, and they taste that, then they understand.
So what happens with the honey that the beekeeping students extract from the UH hives gets turned into value-added honey products, and these are given to the adopters as well as different culinary institutes. We've worked with Hawaii Community College, we've worked with Kapiolani Community College to produce honey-inspired dishes.
I look at cooking a little bit differently. I put things in boxes. And so you have a sodium box, you have a heat box, which is all our chili pepper things. I have an acid box, a sweet box, and a bitter box. So the honey falls into a sweet box. So anything you use to sweeten a dish, like white sugar, brown sugar, maple syrup, molasses, whatever you do, you can just take it out and add honey.
What's cool about the certificate is you don't have to be getting a 4-year degree from the university. You can get it as a private citizen, apply to the university as an unclassified student, and still get a beekeeping certificate that can help you either in a business or in some jobs. And we do that for several different areas in agriculture.
Beekeeping in particular, something about the appeal of this foreign thing to most people. It attracts not just ag students, but pretty much any trade, any interest.
I like how easy it is to get lost in a hive. There's times where you'll have your hot hand in a hive, and when it's in there, bees will start crawling around, and you kind of feel like little vibrations. You feel them buzzing, kind of speaking to you, if you will. Or even just like looking into combs, you just see just a window into their little lives.
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is that bees are not harmful. They react in response to being threatened by humans who are not really familiar with their personalities. So just learning that they are actually very beneficial for our entire world, our entire food system, has been probably the biggest lesson for me, and just learning to appreciate them instead of kind of hush them off because I don't want to get stung.
My passion for bees comes from understanding how important they are to agriculture. You can go to the internet and look at pictures with and without pollination, and you can see how that affects our food choices, our food supply, and knowing that it becomes absolutely essential that we not only encourage beekeeping for the products, but we encourage bees for pollination. And when we do so with good practices, good solid beekeeping practices. And that's what we teach our students, so that they in turn will teach other people how to do good practices. And this perpetuates a better way of looking at agriculture and looking at beekeeping.
Mahalo for joining us. It is because of the generosity of viewers like you that we are able to share these stories. If you would like to support our mission to advance learning and discovery, please visit pbshawaii.org and click on the Donate Now button. For Home is Here, I'm Kala'i Miller. Ahui ho.